Right,
Cool.
there you go. Good stuff. Well, thanks a lot for your time. Good to meet you. So you won the MTV U Band of the Year, listed in the BBC Sound in 2011. You know, with all that sort of hype, did you feel a certain amount of pressure to perform?
I mean, we try not to pay attention to any of the hype and just kind of, I mean, playing music is what got us here, and it's what we try to keep on doing. It sounds simple, but it's you know, a lot of people can get caught up in things, and so we try to just focus on the tunes, you know. So.
Yeah, you said. Well,
no pressure, really. I mean, like, because we're having fun, and you know, every time we get on stage together, it's us four, and obviously we know there's a crowd and stuff like that, but we always, you know, we've committed to these songs and to each other, so we're always having fun up there, and that's usually where it starts. So I think that vibe kind of goes out, and when you're thinking like that, and you're a family, you know, kind of mentality, you're not thinking about press or hype or pressure. You're just up there, you know, having fun and playing music. So
sure. Well, you mentioned God there. Is that? I mean, you were brought up in a church. So.
Yeah, I was raised in church. So was Vince, and Zach was as well. And Jordan's the token heathen. So
yeah, and yeah, with that upbringing as well, what has it given you that lends itself to sort of this performance, sort of rock and roll, as it were?
Yeah, some people think, you know, in church they think like kind of conservative and strict, but it wasn't. I mean, it's middle America with, you know, kind of redneck roots to Pentecostal and charismatic movements. It was very free. You know, my parents were very allowed me to express myself and kind of taught me to dream and stuff like that. So it's honestly, you know, my dad was a pastor and my grandpa was a pastor, but they were just as rock and roll as Jerry Lee or Elvis, man. That's kind of I think rock and roll is a mentality. It's about freedom and about kind of just being who you are, and they definitely kind of exuded that. Like, I saw that in my family. So really, doing what I'm doing is not very much different than what my father did. It's just a different avenue. You know?
Musically, who did you look up to then?
I mean, like the ones I just said, like, you know, Jerry Lee, Elvis, a lot of that, the root stuff. But I mean, Bob Dylan's probably my favorite, and then, you know, newer, you know, like the Clash, the Ramones, Vince and Zach are huge, you know, classic rock, Beatles fans, Zeppelin, that kind of stuff, and the Pixies, Nirvana. I mean, all over the place. I'm influenced by a lot of soul singers, you know, like Otis Redding and stuff like that. So
superb. The new album then is coming out self-titled, self-produced as well. Why did you take that decision?
I kind of I hear it a certain way and I see it a certain way. So I mean, I okay all of our artwork, and I'm very hands-on. You know, even though we have a great team, I'm involved in every step of it. And you know, when we were, you know, poor and doing it in the basement in East Nashville, we didn't have a budget and didn't have anything, so I kind of had to learn how to do it myself. So it was really kind of last resort. It wasn't like we went into it like with that intentions, but because it's a genuine thing and it's a pure kind of translation of what we were going for, I think it resonated with other people because there wasn't somebody else's fingerprints on it.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, were you working some sort of blueprint you had in your head then, or is just the sound, sort of Mona is a sound that? Yeah,
I kind of hear stuff.
Out.
Yeah, no, definitely. I kind of, you know, it's kind of follow it as it leads and lead it as it follows type of thing. Where it's it definitely has a in my head. There's definitely things that I heard that I wanted to come out. And, you know, there's that lofty sound without it being produced. You know, a lot of people make things sound big, but they don't feel big, or it doesn't feel honest. You know, so we needed all those things that were definitely vital. You know, my biggest thing as an artist is to be believable and to be genuine, not to be, you know, to have the biggest budget or the best video or have somebody else's name on it. I want it to be a true expression, and you know, the best way is to kind of learn how to do it yourself. You know, so.
The island obviously just giving you that freedom then to, you know, self-produce and actually the artwork, as you're saying. You know,
say Island
Records, yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of our way or no way, really. I mean, like, and we kind of, the reason why we went with the people that we went with in the UK and the US is because they want to facilitate the vision that was already there, not try to, you know, conjure up a new vision for us. So yeah, they definitely, you know, they jumped through our hoops and we jumped through some of theirs. So.
Yeah, that's a good way of saying it. For the album then, what can we expect? You know, the 3 singles that have come out already, is that, you know, pretty good sort of standpoint as to what we're gonna sort of get?
I mean, it's there's some more intensity, you know, with some songs, and there's some less intensity. I think, you know, I've said, you know, I want to be the most human band on the planet, and what I mean by that is any emotion that a human has, I want to touch it. You know, we're not just punk, and we're not just arena rock or, you know, American rock or whatever you want to call it. We're a little bit of everything. And I talk about the 3 F's all the time, you know, and just faith, fighting, and fucking, and that's kind of what drives all humans. And whether it's sorrow, hate, anger, or love, you know, determination, or depression, whatever it may be, like, we want to kind of reference it and touch it and express it, you know. And, I think the 3 songs that are out right now are a good kind of, you know, a thermostat or thermometer, whichever one it would be, of what's to come. But yeah, there's definitely, you know, a little bit in between. You know, those are kind of the bookends.
Stuff, and you got Rich Costly in to mix it. He's worked with Muse, Franz Ferdinand, Dove, Supergrass.
Yeah.
Did you go with him because of his sort of back catalogue, as it were?
To be honest, I didn't really know a lot of his catalog. I don't know a lot of, you know, of names. There's a few, you know, albums that I liked, and I would look and see who did it. But I had one conversation with Rich, and he got it instantly. And I would, you know, I'd say to anyone, he's a living legend in my opinion, and I have nothing but the most respect for him. He's one of the very few people where I could leave the room and trust that it's gonna be an extension of what I wanted and what the band wanted. And I think he's got, you know, some of the best ears in the business. And
where was the album recorded?
In a basement in Nashville. It was mixed in, you know, California, but yeah, it was recorded in like a flooded basement. Anytime it rains, it floods.
So. I mean, the videos, I was looking at them earlier on today, and if you look at them, a lot of them sort of film clip, very cinematic. I mean, if Mona was a film, what film would it be?
The Wild One.
Yeah?
Yeah. Or like maybe a newer Wild One, like a remake with somebody cool in it. But I didn't get much cooler than Marlon Brando. So.
Yeah, no, that's true. And the namesake came from your grandmother.
Yeah.
That was her first name, and that what? Obviously loved her, and the band just went with it straight away.
Yeah, yeah, kinda. It was just, I don't really know why. Just we said it once, and it just kind of felt good. You know. It's, you know, I think there's a lot of long names nowadays, and it's kind of something that I thought was, you know, I think there's a certain amount of beauty to it. You know, and I think it's ironic, you know, it's a woman's name with 4 dudes in a band. And I've always been one for the tension and release and kind of the dualism. It kind of represents a lot of things, you know, to me.
Yeah. And I don't know, now the celebrity culture that we're living in at the moment, you're probably starting to mix in those circles. Made any good celebrity friends?
Kinda. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we've met a lot of people, man. It's
Anyone you'd like to mention?
I drank with Jack Nicholson in the Hamptons. I mean, that was kind of nuts. You know, we met Robert Plant on Jules Holland, and as far as like legends, I mean, those 2 are great. But I mean, we got to meet like Arcade Fire, which is a band of respect. I'm good buddies with Jared Falwell and the guys from Kings, and yeah, I mean, I could go. That's a long list. Like,
no,
the last few months, we've met a lot of people, but it's cool just to, you know, to see other artists that you respect. You know, that's the, once you kind of get into that arena or those circles, it's just kind of, you just have even more mutual respect for people that have stuck to their guns and continue to stick to their guns and produce good work.
Well, definitely. I mean, with Arcade Fire, seem to be winning Grammys, Brits,
Yeah,
everything at the moment. I mean, what about support slots, etc.? So things that you talk about with bands like that?
You kind of like, you know, like you kind of like hinted in there sometimes, but those Canadian bastards are killing it right now. We'd love to, you know, we'd love to play with them. I mean, even just playing with them on Jules was like, yeah, it's a privilege, you know. It's cool because, you know, you have to have a lot of ambition because you want to outdo these people too.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you go into it respecting them, and you go into it, you know, kind of like the student's going to surpass the teacher mentality as well. So it's a, you know, it's pretty intense. There's a lot to learn from a lot of people, and so we try to keep our ears to the ground and then steal everybody's tricks so we can be better.
And tonight, obviously, you're playing the garage. You have any sort of pre-gig ritual?